The future belongs to those who are fast. Look, that is the operating guidance that has to drive you forward into the future. And I'm thrilled to announce that tomorrow I'm going to be sharing a custom keynote video, 15 minutes in length, that will be used to open a massive global insurance conference. Because while the world has changed, organizations are still clamoring for up-to-date insight on how their future is changing. Look, Jim Carroll here, Futurist. I built a 25-year career going on to some of the most fascinating stages around the world, helping to share insight on the disruptive trends that would change our future and what organizations needed to do to align themselves to that reality. And obviously, all of that has changed with COVID-19. Like many of you, I've been busy reinventing my business model, and aligning to the reality of what is occurring in our world. And a lot of that effort has come from developing virtual capabilities. Look, in the early days of the global pandemic, corporations, associations, organizations, they all rushed to try to do webinars on Zoom, and obviously it did not work. It is still not working. Most webinars that you are going to, admit it, they're absolutely horrid. You've got a speaker who is like a hostage in a hostage video. They're droning on and on to a PowerPoint deck, and your grocery shopping is but a mouse click away. You're bored and you get out of there. I realized early on with this massive transition and the realization that we're going to be in this virtual world for quite some time, that we needed to do things in a different way. And that's why I began working incredibly hard with 2,500 hours invested so far in my virtual broadcast studio where I'm speaking from now. And I was convinced that part of what would occur is organizations would still require and would be clamoring for the insight on how their future would evolve. And particularly, how would their industry, how would their business model, how would their world change as a result of the global pandemic? So one of the first things that I did was I put together a promotional video that outlined the work that I could do in my virtual broadcast studio, the customized insight that I could deliver on a virtual basis from the basement in my home. Well, the very first thing I needed to figure out was how to take the insight and deliver that in this green space that is my virtual studio. And with an incredible amount of effort, it's all come together. Tomorrow, I will have this 15-minute video, which will be used as part of the massive global ITC Global Insure Tech Conference, which is one of the mainstays in the global insurance industry. And I was actually booked by Salesforce, a global technology powerhouse, to put together concise insight on how has the insurance industry changed as a result of COVID-19. This is but one example of how organizations are starting to move into the next phase of leadership. We need to understand what has changed, what has been disrupted, which trends have accelerated, which ones are having more impact than ever before, and what do we as leaders need to do in the context of this reality. I want to share a little bit of insight with you on how this impacted me. The very first thing we talked about is the research that I do when I'm pulling together my presentations. Over a 25-year time span, I use a tool which gives me access to hundreds of thousands of articles having to do with an industry, having to do with an issue. And for this particular event, I pulled out 850 very detailed articles on what insurers were doing to align to the reality of COVID-19. That's the type of customized effort that I have become known for. You can go with a speaker who's going to give you a canned talk, canned pap, with a motivational message that in an hour it's going to be like Chinese food and you're going to be wondering, whoa, what was that about? What I've become known for is the very detailed customized insight that I provide to my clients. What I then did was I filmed the video in my home green screen studio without a studio set like you're seeing here right now. This is actually in my green screen studio, and I'm filming with a with a green screen set, but I actually filmed without a set because in this case, I was working with my overseas professional video producer to put together the video. So a series of clips were filmed after my research was done, which provided a concise overview of specifically how the insurance industry has changed as a result of COVID-19. The next thing I had to do was I needed to find an appropriate stage set that my overseas producer could use, and this is what I came up with. A fascinating set with multiple backdrops in which I could introduce a lot of video content and other elements to help to tell the story of what I was doing in effect on my virtual stage. A project like this is enhanced with a lot of special effects, a lot of special editing, and part of the process was finding a lot of context-sensitive video clips that related to the story that I'm weaving on the virtual stage. This had to do with consumer change, it had to do with industry change, it had to do with the impact of COVID, it had to do with the acceleration of digital technologies. So that was a part of the process as well, was finding context-sensitive video clips. The key to making all of this work is really the involvement of my professional overseas video producer. She took the content, she took the insights, she took the material and wove together this highly professional video which outlines how the world of insurance has changed as a result of COVID-19. 15 minutes of cutting-edge insight. That is the type of thing that organizations need today for their online events, for their online webinars, for their association events, and for their corporate leadership meetings, because people have a different attention span in this virtual space. The video is going live tomorrow. It's going to be going up on my website at about 2 o'clock or 2:30. I think you will enjoy it. It's kind of staggering to watch. And if you want to learn a little bit more about how these videos are put together, it happens right here in my virtual broadcast studio. Everything you've just seen has been in front of this green wall from this studio, where organizations are discovering they can take their virtual event to the next stage. I'm going to close out by sharing with you my promotional video on leadership insight and how you can go forward into a world in which the future belongs to those who are fast. Futurist Jim Carroll, thank you for watching. Like many organizations, you're using online webinars to reach your leadership team, association members, or other executives with the critical issues of an ever-challenging world. But sometimes an online webinar won't do it. I'm Futurist Jim Carroll, and for 25 years, I've been providing my insight to organizations around the world. And now I can deliver to you a highly customized, professionally produced video series that focuses on the key leadership issues that you need to address with your team, the trends that they need to think about, and the innovative mindset that they need to pursue to align themselves to a world in which the future belongs to those who are fast. Here's how it works. I work in my home broadcast studio to prepare a series of highly customized short video clips which get across the key issues that we need to address. I then send these to my overseas producer, and she provides us professional series of video clips which you can then use as an overall training course program to bring your leadership team up to date with a world which is changing faster than ever before. We can enhance this ability with a customized series of online webinars from my same home broadcast studio, where I can deliver you a multimedia-rich, highly engaging, and massively interactive online webinar. I would encourage you to reach out to me and let's have a discussion about what you need to accomplish and how my professionally produced broadcast videos can help you align to a world in which you need to think big, start small, and scale fast. Futurist Jim Carroll. Let's talk.